What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Universal Teas. It's the People's Podcast with your girl Toya, and this episode is called Know Yourself. Now, child, don't please, y'all, don't come for me. I know that this episode is not dropping on Tuesday, but here we are. um, I had to give myself grace. Things have been busy. The spirit of procrastination and inconsistency been trying to get a hold of me again. And so I decided to not get down on myself for skipping Tuesday to record this and going ahead and telling myself, child, drop it on Thursday. A message is a message. It's still within this week. It is still Mental Health Awareness Month. It is still going to be the message that you plan to give them on Tuesday. So whether they get it on Thursday, maybe somebody needed it on a Thursday other than a Tuesday. So without making excuses for why I didn't drop the episode on Tuesday, I'm just giving myself grace and letting you all know that it was simply just the spirit of procrastination. The spirit of fear tried to come back in. Negative beliefs about maybe I shouldn't be doing it. I can wait another week. I can do something next month. All those negative thoughts that have been trying to take over my mind, baby, I am active in my practices for my mental health with combating negative thoughts of laziness, of procrastination. I think in the last snippet I told y'all, I've been combating a lot of things. Fear, shame, and guilt are my big three. And so one of the things that I had to combat to even come to this platform on a Thursday instead of a Tuesday was fear, y'all. Fearing that there's no point. People probably won't be listening because I'm not doing it on video on Facebook anymore. I'm not gonna have the reach, and the message that I want is not gonna get to people who I know need it. And so this is me live in action, combating fear, taking hold of my mental health, and just honoring where I am. And this is also perfect that I'm actually talking about this because I think it kind of relates to a portion of the angle that I'm going to take with this episode, being called Know Yourself. One thing that I realized that I had to do in knowing myself is being able to name when I fall short. Being able to name that I make excuses sometimes for things that I know I should have done by saying we need to rest. I've literally had a child like I've had to have hard conversations and sit my own self down and be like, Toya, you keep talking about you need to rest. You've been resting for months. You know, you're using the term rest to shy away from actually working hard. And so knowing myself, knowing that I'll procrastinate, knowing that I struggle with consistency, knowing that I struggle with discipline, I have to tell myself those things, and not in a way that is going to discourage me from doing things or bring me down or make me feel bad about myself. But a part of knowing yourself is just being honest about where you need to do work. And these are things that I know I need to do work on. I was listening to the Let's Try This Again podcast with B. Simone earlier, and she was mentioning that our minds are so powerful because they can allow us to go down these rabbit holes. Of course, negative thoughts are going to come up, but I often I often allow those negative thoughts to turn into negative meditations, to allow myself to sit in that sorrow. I spend more time worrying and feeling bad that I didn't meet a mark instead of picking myself back up and getting to it. I know that I am sensitive. I know that I get knocked off my square easily, and that is where I have to do the work. And so, a part of, as we get into know yourself, and this ain't even come from my notes, this is just things that I'm realizing as I'm saying this out loud while I'm recording. When you are doing the work and committing to knowing yourself, you have to know and understand that there are going to be things that you are going to be uncomfortable with. There are going to be feelings that come up that you may have shown, not even feelings or traits that you show that are not the best. Being guilty, feeling shame for the way that you once lived your life, instead of telling yourself, yo, that was me. I would never, I've grown, seeing the growth. You know, I think a way to, and I'm just getting this as I'm saying it out loud because shame is something that I've been trying to work through, right? And instead of operating in shame, I think the way that I would counteract that or suggest that you counteract feelings of shame are showing growth or acknowledging your growth, and not showing it but acknowledging your growth, right? Use it more so as reflection. You're not there anymore. I think a part of that is living in a part of your life or an experience or a thing that you did that you didn't love or that you wouldn't necessarily indulge in now, right? There's no sense to experience shame, but instead flip that and be reflective on the growth that you had. Don't be guilty. Don't feel like everything is your fault. Understand that these are the ways of the world. Some things are good, some things are bad. Sometimes we fall short. The way that you combat guilt is with honesty and apology and vulnerability, being true to who you are, owning where you fell short. So, and these are things that I want to flesh out more. Now that I'm saying it, I feel more coming out of me. But knowing yourself is knowing that you are a human. You do humanly things like fuck up sometimes. Okay? I think on the road to wanting to do better and wanting to be better, we learn that we have to be good, and we sometimes feel like we always have to be good. I always have to get the highest grade. I always have to be the nice person. I always have to do things in this way. I always have to show up for everyone. When 9 times out of 10, you thinking that you always have to be this good and perfect person makes you not be. Because if you feel like you always have to show up physically for everybody, you're probably going to be fake in your energy around them because you don't really have it to give in the first place. If you feel like you always have to make people feel good, that means that you're probably neglecting parts of you. That means that you're probably people pleasing. And if you love somebody so much, if you love and care about the people that you're around, and that's another thing that you need to know for yourself, and we're going to talk about it in a minute, is the people that you're around and why. Because if you're around people that you truly care about, and it's reciprocal and they truly care about you, you're not going to always feel like you have to show up as your best. You're not going to feel like you always have to show up, because somebody who loves you and cares about you will honor that if you are not in a great space, if you are not able to show up fully, or if you just need a minute to decompress, is desocialize a word? Either way it goes, those people are going to be like, right, friend, take your time. Right, sis? I understand, no worries. Instead of being 30 years old and getting upset that people have other plans and they probably couldn't make your birthday dinner because they're probably battling depression, because they're probably stressed out. They probably are broke and don't have the money to go to Ruth Chris Steakhouse with you for your birthday, but you are not really caring about them deeply enough. You don't know them deeply enough like you think you do to honor that they probably just can't do it right now. Oh, okay, child. I don't know. That all of that just came to me, and I felt compelled to share. But as we go through these points that I want to talk about with knowing yourself, I want us to also, because I talk about all the time, like knowing the negative things that exist for you and having the courage to change them. But knowing yourself is also knowing what's dope about you. Being able to give yourself flowers. Hell, maybe literally. Being able to reflect and recognize ways in which that you've grown. Being able to look at yourself and say, oh my God, I did this. Looking at your rap sheet, looking at the fact that you may be creative. Looking at the fact that people do love to be around you. Looking at the fact that your mind is different. People listening to podcasts that are motivating them, your mind is different. You're seeking something different. Know that about you. Know that you are unique. Know that you got you. That's good. We sometimes try to match what is good for us to what's good for others. What success looks like to us, we try to mirror it off of what it looks like for somebody else. But knowing yourself is also knowing what makes you you. Okay, and that gets into my point. One way in which that we know ourselves is the literal and most in your face angle of it. It's being conscious of your being. Knowing that you are a part of the earth, you are a part of this ecosystem, you are a part of the world, the ways that things happen, you somehow flow into them. Being conscious. And I said conscious for a reason. Being aware of the fact that you are here, that you take up space, that you are in existence. That's knowing yourself. Another part is knowing how to describe yourself and who you are. The good old question that people ask is, who are you? And I don't know if y'all have ever done this activity, but if you haven't, this is a challenge for some of us. Get you some paper or order your Universal Teas journal off Amazon, which is linked in the description. And if someone were to ask you who you are, I want you to make a list of those things. Who are you? I'm a teacher. I am a friend. I am a podcaster. And just make the list go on and on. And then after you make this preliminary list, I want you to scratch off everything on that list that is a title, like an external title that someone's giving you, that your job has given you, that society has given you. Anything that is a title, a mother, sister, brother. I'm a best friend. I'm a dog mom. Erase them and see how many things you have left. And if you truly want to know yourself, redo this list and put characteristics of who you are. I am smart. I am resourceful. I am funny. I'm a procrastinator. I am vulnerable. I am sensitive, and that's me. I am fearful. I am diligent. I'm a hothead. I'm antsy. So go back and recreate this list of traits that explain and describe you. Because who are you really? That is the first step in really getting to know yourself. And that's just the surface level, getting to know yourself when we think about the ways in which I'm going to describe it. Another way that you can do the work or think about how to figure out who you are and take the steps to know yourself is knowing what you like and don't like, knowing who you like and don't like. Okay? I know that I like crab legs. I know that I like pho. I know that I like listening to music, soft music when I wake up in the morning. I know I like slow mornings. I don't like being late, y'all. If you are a child, if you know, I cannot stand being late. You know what I'm saying? I like naps, child. Listen, I don't like being harshly criticized. I don't like feeling like I could be a topic of conversation in a negative way when I'm not in the room. I don't like the feeling of being in spaces when I can't trust people. I don't like, what else? So, fun fact, I'm going on a tangent. I was about to say I don't like peanut butter and bananas, but recently, y'all, I done grew up, and I don't know if my taste buds were just childish, but in my smoothies, I can have me a little peanut butter banana combo. Now, I don't like no fresh banana. Like, I can't do the raw dog bananas. But banana flavors, I've always liked, but I can put a frozen banana and a little bit of peanut butter in my smoothie. But, right, that goes to my point of having to understand why you don't like stuff. Because I thought I didn't like it. And I tried it one time. I was like, okay, that's all right. Anyway, knowing yourself is knowing what you like and what you don't like, who you like and who you don't like. I don't like this person. Here's why. Or knowing that, because I think not liking people is very bold to say without good reason. And I mean, we could break that apart, but knowing things that you may not like about people, I think that's a better way to think of it. I don't like this about this person. I don't like this about myself. You know, I don't like this thing that my partner does. I don't like the way that the education system is set up right now. So knowing what you like and what you don't like, knowing what you stand for, those are ways that we get to know ourselves. Okay. And also knowing your preferences. Okay. Now, that is like know yourself, like how I said it. Know who you are, know how you exist in spaces, know how you show up in the world. The next part of how I wanted to frame this episode, Know Yourself, is know yourself. Y'all probably like, girl, what? You just said the same thing. But what I mean, the way I broke that down is to basically like know for yourself. And this looks like taking a deeper look at if your preferences, your beliefs are actually your own, or if it's just what you've been fed, or if you are just going off of emotion. You know, like all the things that I just mentioned for how we get to know ourselves, our preferences, being conscious of your being, knowing your strengths, knowing what you believe in, really taking the time to know for yourself is investigating those things. Challenging your thoughts, asking yourself, but why? I don't like this, but why? I don't like her, but why? I don't like bananas, but why? I had to ask myself. And so then I tried it in my smoothie. And I was like, oh, they not too bad. They're right. And then I tried a fresh banana. And I was like, because I don't like that taste. But this second know for yourself is really about taking, like I said, that deep look and investigating everything and figuring out why you don't like it. Because, and this works specifically for negative things and negative feelings that you discover about yourself, or in particular, I can say up and down all day that I don't like the gym. And I'm saying that because I need to go. But I've been saying a lot like, I don't like the gym. And I'm really trying to figure out why. Like I say, it's boring, which it is. But I don't know. I got to figure out that disconnect. Certain things and situations and things and people, honestly, I can say that I don't like. And really investigating why that is. But a part of figuring that out requires me to look at me. So right now I'm doing this series with some middle schoolers, and we're unpacking trauma. And one of the things that they mentioned that they wanted to talk about was self-awareness. And so I had them do these activities. And you all can do this in your university's journals as well, that you are going to click the link in the show notes to order. What I had them do was first make a list of things that they cannot stand. And child, these kids went in. I said, make a list of things you can't stand what people do, what you can't stand what they wear, things that you can't stand, like things that you cannot stand about people that just irk your nerves. And then I had them think about, dang, how did I bring this home? Before that, the week before that, I had them make a list of negative beliefs that they held about themselves because of their trauma and like negative emotions that they associated with those. And so then after they created this list of things that they hate, they can't stand, that makes them sick, I had them pull out that list that they made previously. And then I told them, I want you to compare these two lists and raise your hand if you see similarities. Child, them kids was shook. A lot of the things on that list that they said they hated or couldn't stand about others or couldn't stand generally were things that they listed that they felt about themselves due to their trauma. So knowing yourself, knowing for yourself is really looking at, because we cannot like things, people, situations for very valid reasons. I'm not sitting up here saying you can't like certain things, because child, it's a thing or two that I don't, right? But I want you to take that deeper look and know yourself enough to be able to say why you don't like it. Or is this just a reflection of your own internal insecurities, your own traumas showing up, or just things that you need to work on within yourself? And so that activity really challenged them to look within themselves to figure out and know why they didn't like certain things. So then after this, I'm like, okay, so now why don't you like these things? I don't know. It just get on my nerves. But they were able to, I had to circle them back and make them realize that you don't like these things because it reflects negative things that you feel about yourself, negative experiences that you have. That's why you don't like it. It's not even within reason. It doesn't make you unsafe. It's not a threat to you. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a threat to your livelihood. It's not going to kill you. We talking about you saying you don't like the girl that's always raising her hand in class. And it's like, why does that annoy you? It's really because you never really got a chance to voice your thoughts and your opinions, you know? So that's one angle within knowing yourself, is knowing why you don't like certain things. Why do you like certain things? Why do you believe in the religion that you believe in? Why do you believe in some of the ideals that you believe in? Why do you believe that Drake is doing a better job at this and what's his name now? Kendrick Lamar. Why? Know for yourself. Investigate it. Why are you practicing Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism? Why are you Muslim? Is it because this is what was just presented to you as a child, or have you really investigated? You know? Why do you believe that? Why are you racist? A lot of people are racist and have no idea. Like, they can't explain to you why. Why are you prejudiced? Why are you sexist? Why are you homophobic? Is it because you want to try it? A lot of people who are homophobic immediately go to the Bible. What if somebody is gay and atheist? Then what? You're projecting your belief onto someone else. Why are you so hell bent about somebody, I don't know, doing a certain thing in a space? Is it because you really don't have the courage to show up in that way? Why? Know for yourself. Do you really not like that situation because you feel like it threatens something in you, or it takes away from something in you? So know for yourself everything that you believe in. I remember this was maybe like in 2019. Some of my students had started a podcast. It didn't last very long, but proud of them either way. They started a podcast and they had me as their first guest. And I need to find it. I wish I could find this audio. But they asked me something, or they said, like, what advice would you give us in the future? Because they were in 8th grade at the time. Oh, and those babies are graduating from high school right now. Wow, they're going on prom. Ooh, child, auntie O. Anyway, they were asking me to give them some advice for when they go out into the world, when they go to high school, and just through the rest of their years. And one of the pieces of advice I told them was question everything. And they were like, what do you mean? Like, ask a lot of questions? And I was like, yeah, question everything. The world is going to present you with much, but be able to question it before you believe it. And that also speaks to knowing yourself. And that's the reason I want you all to really look at why you believe the things that you believe. That list that I told y'all to make at the beginning of this, that describes you, you need to know yourself in case it's questioned. I know that I am brilliant. Here's how. I know that I'm resilient because this is what I've overcome. I know that I procrastinate because this is what I haven't done. These are my ideas because I have tons of plans and no tangibles. That's how I know. That's why. So that is literally, and of course, I don't think they fully grasp what that meant, but hopefully one day they will reflect and understand that when I say question everything, I mean that. Okay, and that's my advice to you all too, is question everything. Question everything about yourself. Question the people that are around you. Question the feelings that you have. Why does this bring me joy? Why does this make me anxious? Why does this particular thing make me depressed? Knowing what triggers that. Know yourself. Question everything. Because if somebody is being honest, ain't nobody running from explanations but a liar. Ain't nobody running from questions but a liar. Question everything. Okay? Um, Another way that I want you all to practice knowing for yourself, right? This episode is called Know Yourself, but I want you to know yourself, like for yourself, um, is to get curious about everything and everyone connected to you. I can say that when I think about myself right now, I've had to slow myself down and really analyze a lot of the things around me. Um, I haven't been very social, but I'm very intentional about who I'm around, who I spend my time with, who I speak to. And I had to get curious, so I've been watching. I haven't been saying too much, but I've just been paying attention to the way that people move in regards to me and in general. Because I need to know for myself. I need to know that this is what it is, or this is what I feel like, because feelings are fleeting, right? I don't want to just operate it in, oh, I just got a notification that my podcast has had 2,500 downloads. That's dope. But yeah, what I'm getting at is, child, what was I talking about? Questioning everything and everyone around me. I've been isolated, right? I have not been very social. I haven't been hanging out with my friends as much as I probably should. I haven't been on the phone talking to people as much as I probably should. But that, I feel like, now pushes me to really get curious about who it is that I spend time with, who it is that I talk to, the conversations that I have. I now know for myself that I will not, and notice that I'm saying I don't want to, I don't think I will not be in close community with people who I have to question in my absence. I will not give my time and energy to people who I have to wonder how they feel about me. I will not allow myself to be isolated out of the fear of community, but instead I'm going to get curious about everybody that I'm in contact with, about every conversation, about every question that I'm asked, about everything that I'm invited to or not invited to, about everything. I'm paying attention to myself and how I feel around people and analyzing whether it's them or me. Because it ain't always everybody else. I had to be honest with myself. People are not always doing something to me. I go sometimes looking for it, looking for validation that certain things are a certain way, trying to convince myself. And then when people show me who they are, just believe in them and not taking it to heart, not being hell bent when people fall short of the expectations that I've given them. I can't, we can't, you can't, nobody can put their expectations of who you want somebody to be on them. Just because you expect them to be this type of friend for you doesn't mean they will. Just because you expected your parents to parent you in a certain way doesn't mean that they did or they had the capacity to. And it don't matter how you seen them do it for somebody else. It don't matter how you've seen or shown up for other people. Nobody can put expectations on you. And that is when, and I'm thinking for myself, when I think about some things in ways that I've moved, trying to meet other people's expectations, that's when I'm the most miserable. So I feel like if you are living, and I'm speaking to myself, and while I really feel this, I don't know why I'm getting a little bit emotional in saying this, but if you are getting in your feelings about somebody falling short for how you expected them to show up, you're really being selfish. You are being selfish because you cannot put that on them. It's not their responsibility to meet you where you expected them to go. Just because you saw them there doesn't mean that they have to change who they are. Stop thinking people have to change for you. All you should want the people around you to do is show you them. How selfish of me to expect somebody to love me or care about me or be in relationship or friendship or be a certain family member to me because that's what I expected. I can't expect them to change who they are. God made them that way. They probably needed something in another space that I couldn't give them. They may have been sad if they had to try to be the friend that I expected them to be the boss that I expected them to be. My only responsibility is moving around when it's time, okay? And not allowing it to take up and depreciate my mental health and my mental space. Because, like I said, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. You setting expectations for, I don't expect anything from anybody except honesty, loyalty. And if you can't meet that, I got to go. But knowing what I need, that's also a part of knowing yourself. Knowing that all I need from somebody is respect and honesty. If you can't respect me, if you can't be honest with me, then you're not for me. Knowing that for myself. If I can't be honest with myself or respect myself enough to honor the things that I see as important and valuable, I got some serious work to do with myself. And it's crazy because in the last little snippet episode, I remember saying that, and I'm trying to find this picture, that I kept feeling, I told y'all my word for the year is self-awareness. And I know that's 2 words, mind your business. But my quote for 2024 and the word that I'm focusing on is self-awareness, because I want to know me so deeply. I want to have the most intimate relationship with myself by the end of this year. I want to love myself so fiercely this year. I want to know everything about me. That's what I'm working on this year. And it's been uncomfortable as hell, but I'm committed. And then I also said in that little snippet that the word love, that word has been coming up for me. And I'm trying to figure out what it means, because it's not even the just the feeling of love, but like really, I don't know. It's just like love, 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 with love. And so I want to do everything with love. And it's crazy because the day after I dropped that snippet or preview for what Universal Teas would be, and I was like, I don't know what love means and why it keeps sitting on my spirit and on my mind. And I was working, and at one of my schools, excuse me, it's is it Catholic school, and the room that I was working in, I never realized that this poster was in the room the whole year that I've been working there. And the first word on it is love. And it has 1 Corinthians 13 from the Bible on there, and it literally explains what love is. So I'm going to read it, and please stay with me, even if you are not, like, this is not me pushing Christianity, it's the message. So I know some people like, oh, here she go with the Bible, I'm about to get up off here, I need nobody preaching at me. But I'm not even giving it from a standpoint of like, this is why you need to believe in God, but it was just the messaging was really on time. And so I looked up and I saw the word love literally the day after I dropped that episode. And then 1 Corinthians 13 says, love is patient, love is kind, and envies no one. Love is never boastful, nor conceited, nor rude, never selfish, not quick to take offense. Love keeps no score of wrongs, does not gloat over another's sins, but delights in the truth. There is nothing love cannot face. There is no limit to its faith, its hope, and its endurance. In a word, there are 3 things that last forever: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of all of them is love. And so I looked at it, and I had to take a picture of it because I really felt like that was presented. It was in my face the whole year, y'all, and I never realized that it was on the wall in this room. But it really had me start to break down what love looks like for me, because we talk about self-love. We talk about I've been talking about self-awareness with love. That's been on my spirit because I directly, in my own thinking, every time I talk about being self-aware, I immediately go to, but you got to know the negative. Learn the negative things about yourself. I don't want to think about the good things. And I think that God, the universe, the ancestors, the Most High, all of those entities placed love on my heart because it's so important to do all of this work on yourself in love and grace and not beat yourself up. And so I'm gonna break down a part of this. It's not gonna, child, it's not Bible study. Don't get worried, child. I ain't having y'all pull out y'all Bible app unless y'all want to. But love is patient, love is kind, and envies no one. That's the first part of it. Like, if I want to love myself, and I'm talking about self-awareness because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I want us to take care of ourselves. Love is patient, love is kind, and envies no one. You have to love yourself enough to be patient with you. I showed that today by recording this episode on a Thursday, because I could have been impatient with myself and said, you know what, I'm just not gonna do it. I was patient and kind to myself, like, you can do it another day. Toya, don't get down on yourself. It envies no one. I've had to work through that emotion before. How can I love myself and I'm feeling envy for something or someone else? That's not love. That's not self-love. Love is never boastful, nor conceited, nor rude, nor selfish, and never quick to take offense. Y'all, when I tell you, I don't think I've ever been very boastful or conceited, but there's times I've been rude to people. That's not showing love for myself. There's times I've been rude to myself and been so hard on myself. You know what I'm saying? I've been told that so much, like, Toya, you are so hard on yourself. You gotta chill. And then not quick to take offense. Baby, that's the one. That's the one. A part of love, self-love in particular, is not allowing yourself to be easily offended. I just told y'all that you should question everything. So when someone asks me a question and I get offended, that's very telling. That's not self-love, because you also have to be honest, right? Because it also says, what does it say? Something about it delights in the truth. If you are standing up 10 toes down in your truth, somebody questioning you will not cause you to be offended. Now, you may have to break it down and be like, all right, it's a little annoying. I'm not offended, but I'm a little annoyed with all these questions. But a part of love, y'all, self-love, not being quick to offense, not allowing yourself to get riled up by small things. It keeps no score of wrongs. I used to be a very tit for tat person. Like, okay, you ain't answer the phone for me, just wait, I'm about to give you some attitude when you get here. I remember that. Or do you remember? Like, I used to be a very tit for tat person. That's not showing myself love. Because honestly, that just means I'm allowing stuff to take up space in my mind. That's where that anxiety starts to creep in, because I'm trying to keep score. I'm trying to keep tabs. I'm trying to make sure I get my lick back. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't glow over other people's sins. Being happy that somebody failed is not love. Love is important because we're talking about showing love to ourselves. You're taking away from the love that you have for yourself when you're spending so much time celebrating somebody's failure. That means you are redirecting self-love somewhere else. You can't focus on loving yourself because you're too busy gloating at somebody else's shortcomings. You know, it delights in the truth. There's nothing love cannot face. There's no limit. There's no limit to love. You can love yourself abundantly. You can overflow with love for yourself. But you have to make sure that you are doing all these things. You have to make sure that you're being patient and kind with yourself. Make sure you're not out here bragging. There's one thing about and I was going to say pride, but that can be taken negatively too. Like, bragging, being proud of yourself or acknowledging accomplishments is one thing, but being boastful and conceited, because all of it can be taken away. So don't do too much. Don't do too much. But yeah, like this year, self-awareness with love is my focus. I want to operate in love. I want to be in love with myself. I want to know myself. I want to love like y'all. I'm getting so emotional. But when I tell y'all I want to love myself so deeply, because I spent so much time picking myself apart. There have been days and weeks and months where all I did was think about ways I messed up and things that I've done wrong, and being embarrassed about things that I may have said or did, or just even now I still worry about, like, when's the next time I'm gonna mess up, or did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Did I make somebody feel a certain way? I've spent so much time picking myself apart, and I just want to love me. I want to get to the point where it's like I sat in a room, I did what y'all call shadow work. I looked at all of my flaws. I dealt with shame. Like, I want to be a champion against shame, guilt, and regret, because they lead me right now, and I know that is not how. Oh, child, it's me crying. I know that that's not all I am. I got to spend more time reflecting on how far I've come, how dope I am, the impact. I take so much honor in knowing that this platform makes people feel seen in their weakness and celebrated in their strength. And that is my passion. I told y'all I'll be launching a universal coaching company. And when I think about my passion, it really is seeing people step into the light, regardless of how long they've been in the dark, regardless of what skeletons are in the dark with them. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've experienced. I don't care what you've done to cope. I don't care your sexual preference. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care how you identify. I genuinely love to see people step into the light. And notice I said not live in the light. Of course, I love to see people live in the light, but I have a special place within me for seeing people step through the threshold from the darkness to the light. And that is what my passion is, to help people do that, because I felt like I've tried to do that work by myself for so long, and it's hard. So, child, oh, I am a mess. But yeah, know yourself and love yourself, and that's the goal that I have for myself this year. Is like really learning and loving on me. Like, I want to be so in love with me, so in love with me to the point that I honor myself. I honor my truth. I honor who I am right now. And so I'm going to start to wrap us up because I keep crying. So I'm going to get these last parts out, child. Thank y'all for sitting here listening to me have a good cry. But I really want y'all to love yourselves, because the journey to getting there is so difficult for some of us. And I don't even have the worst journey. You know what I mean? I don't even have the worst experiences. But I know that some people do. And y'all probably really be believing like, I can't make it out of this. I can't get through this. Something always comes up. It's like, and stuff is going to keep coming up, but I want you to understand and know that you get to change the narrative. You get to decide what gets your attention. So, the advice that I have for you all as you get to know yourselves is to be confident in your knowing. Once you know yourself and you love yourself, be confident in knowing who you are. Be confident in knowing that regardless of what you've been through, what you've experienced, what you did last year, 2 years ago, what you did a year ago, the ways in which you did things wrong, and yeah, you may have hurt some people, you may have lied a little bit, you may have been a little manipulative in the past. It's okay for you to change. So be confident. Don't shrink. Don't shrink. Shrinking is just showing that you're allowing your insecurities, you're allowing that guilt, that shame, that fear to hold space. Kick it out. Don't shrink. I don't care what I did. I don't care how you remember me. You gonna feel me today. That's the energy that you need to have when you are stepping into every space as the person that you are called to be, with a person that is of courage. Don't shrink. If somebody brings up your past, like, yeah, but no, you talking to me today. Don't shrink. Don't let fear. Don't let guilt. Don't let those things drive you around. You are not a Tesla, baby. Drive yourself where you gotta go. Okay. The next thing is be unshakable. When we are, oh my God, y'all, it's the tears. Ooh, child, y'all love me if y'all still listening through this through this stuff. But be unshakable. The devices of the enemy, of the negative spirits, of the dark spirits, are to shake your faith, are to make you doubt your abilities, to make you doubt your gifts. But be unshakable. Even with everything, if you work through it, it can no longer take up space for you. It's not even a part of you no more if you work through it. It's a part of who you were. So be unshakable. When you know yourself, know that you can stand 10 toes down about you with confidence. Know that nobody is going to be able to play you. Nobody's going to have a skeleton to pull out your closet because you here. What do we say? Love is operating in truth. You're delighted in the truth. You know what it is and what ain't. You also know what you're not going to tolerate. So let those both coexist. Nobody's going to be able to play you. When you know yourself, what does it say? Offers of anything or any energy that is less than what you deserve is going to be insulting and laughable. When you know yourself, when you are self-aware with love, anything that is not in alignment with who you've defined yourself to be, who you know yourself to be, you're going to laugh at it. You said you're going to pay me how much? That's not what I'm worth. You came in here lying to me. You came in here cheating. You came in here trying to shame me, trying to project your negative perceptions of yourself on me. That's insulting. That's a joke. You're a joke. When you know yourself, when you are self-aware with love, baby, anything less than your value is insulting. And you going to move like that. Oh, I heard you said, what about me to somebody else? Yeah, nah. You can't take up space in my life no more. You've disrespected me in how many ways? On how many occasions? Yeah, nah, you can't take up the same space in my life. And I'm not explaining. When you know yourself with love, you're not explaining yourself to people. They might question you. You'll answer them in truth, but there's no need for explanations. Whew. And lastly, when you know yourself and you know for yourself, you'll make better choices and moves about everything in regards to you. You're going to choose people differently. You're going to be in different spaces. You're going to have different habits. You're going to eat differently. You're going to think differently. Your daily routine and schedule is going to look different. The way you speak is going to be different. The way you walk into a room is going to be different. The way you hold your head up is going to be different. The way you have conversation is going to be different. The way you work is going to be different. The way you go to bed at night with peace is going to be different. The way you wake up in the morning is going to be different. The way you raise your kids is going to be different when you know yourself for yourself. Okay? Oh, child. And with that being said, thank you all for listening to this episode of Universal Teas. Please be on the lookout. Please subscribe to the podcast. Share it. Leave me some comments. Let me know how y'all think. If you need to get on there like Toya, you can't be crying on every episode. Get on there and tell me how you feel. Share it with somebody who needs it, who needs to know themselves, both the good and the bad. If you need a life coach, hit my line or hit my email. Yeah, because life is difficult. And I'm saying life coach. I really wanted to be a life partner, but people be saying that for their spouses. I ain't trying to marry y'all. But if you need life coaching, hit me up. We could do a consultation. But if life coaching is something, if you need somebody to coach you, getting from that threshold between the darkness and the light of the life that you know you deserve, hit me up. I got you. Got some things y'all can do. Okay? I love y'all so much. Bye.